Hello everyone, I want to make a video today on the Oxford admission interviews because, the interviews for this year is coming up, and being an Oxford student, I think I have some good advice for those of you who might have received an interview offer, or also those of you who are looking to apply in the years to come. And so yeah, this video is gonna tell you how I think you can maximize your chances at securing a place and just succeeding in the interview in general, right? And myself, I have applied to Oxford twice, and twice I was successful. So I've been through the interview process twice. And I won't go into detail today on why I had to apply twice, but I have went through this process twice, and twice I've been successful. So I think I am qualified to say give you some advice, but again, I'm not like a professional like interview prep or anything like that. So, take my advice with a grain of salt. Also, it is very important for you to know that my advice mostly just works for math, which is the degree that I'm reading here, and possibly other STEM subjects. But like the interviews for different subjects are very different in both the way it's conducted and the purpose of it almost. Like for example, I've talked to some classics friends here in Oxford, and apparently, like um, the interview for classics, like 98% of the applicants get interviewed for classics, which is certainly not the case for math. Only about 1/3 of the students get a interview offer, and so obviously, like being given an interview for math and classics, and it means very different things, and also you should expect very different things and try and use very different approaches to maximize your chance to succeed. So yeah, if you're applying to math, or maybe or potentially other STEM subjects like physics and engineering, I think this video will help you. Otherwise, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I can't tell. I don't know, genuinely. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive into it. And the first question is, what are interviews like? The interviews for Oxford is very different from interviews you might have for American universities if you apply to them as well, because the people that are interviewing you are the people that, in the end, make your admission decisions, not some alumni that they pay a little bit of money to interview you. This is like people that are going to decide whether or not you get admitted. And more importantly, these people are the tutors that you will have in your years to come. And these, so basically, they're professionals in the subject that you're applying to. And the interview themselves are very much like a tutorial that you will have, except apart from the fact that it is one-to-one. What this means is basically the entire interview is going to be focused on subject specific questions, and you will be asked to do questions just like you might be in tutorials. And so what this means is you really don't need to spend a lot of time preparing for what some may call general questions, right? Like, why did you choose the subject that you choose? Why are you applying to Oxford? Let's be honest, they probably won't ask this question. Like my first interview, I entered the room. The professor, this is the exact quote, right? The professor said, I won't ask you why you applied to math because obviously it is the best subject. Now, have you ever heard of and insert a math jargon here? I won't talk. I won't tell. I can't tell you what exactly the question was because I cannot reveal what was in my interview. That the university will not be very happy about that. To leak potential interview questions. But yeah, the point is it's very straight to the subject specific questions. There's not much like talking about your dreams, your life, whatever. It's very straight to the point. The second question is, what does it mean to receive an interview offer? And this for math at least, it means you have sufficient aptitude to study in Oxford. Like, because the MAT, which is the admission test for math, is super important in deciding your admission, and both your admission and whether or not you get an interview, right? And it is very good. It is a very good test of your aptitude. And if you pass the test and got the interview offer, that essentially means you have the necessary aptitude. So then, why do they interview you? Well, what are the tutors looking for in your interview? That is the next question. Well, it is they're looking they're trying to measure your potential, if that makes sense. Like, imagine your aptitude right now, which is measured by the MAT. That is your initial value. Then the potential is measured by, which is measured by this interview, is going to give the tutors an idea of the first derivative and potentially second derivative or third derivative, depending on how they how meta they go. But the point is, it measures your potential. It measures how quickly you can learn and assimilate information. That is the aim, in my opinion, right? And the two key components is your approach to problems and your passion for your subject. And therefore, onto the next question, which is how to maximize your chances. It is very important when you are during your interview to show both your approach and interest in the subject. This is how I think I was able to secure a place both time I applied to Oxford. I was good at talking through my process when I'm like solving a problem, and I like every time like I solve a problem, maybe towards the end, I would like look back and be like, oh, this is pretty cool, right? You should talk about like how this question, like how the problem that the professor asks you in your interview, like how it makes you think and like more deeply about math in general, or how okay, it sounds a bit much, but like how it makes you feel, right? It's a bit much, I have to say, but it is important for you to like demonstrate your passion, basically. And another very, very important thing is you have to go into it with the mindset of like to enjoy the process of the interview. Like it is basically a tutorial, which could be quite an enjoyable process, right? You get to like talk about math with some of the world leading professionals in, or maybe not math, but like whatever subject you're applying to, right? You get to talk about the subject that you want to study at university level with some of the most like brilliant and most accomplished in that field, right? Which is a pretty cool experience, whether or not you get an offer. So you should go into it with the like mindset of not really thinking about whether or not you're gonna do well, but more just to enjoy the process. And the more you do this, the more relaxed you are, which means you'll be able to talk about your approach a little more clearly. And also, the more you try to enjoy the process, or the more you enjoy the process, and the more you enjoy the process, the more you demonstrate your interest and passion in your subject. And lastly, my advice for like how to practice for the interview, if you want to, it is best to like just like have some math problems, right? Like there are the TPO, the 100 questions that are in like the Oxford website that you can find. To be honest, they're not really how interview questions are like, but they're a pretty good estimate. And basically, just take those questions and just either find a friend or a teacher or a parent maybe, and just tell them how you're gonna like solve it while telling them each step you're taking, because a lot of you are very good at like math or whatever subject that you're doing, but a lot of you probably doesn't have that much experience in, like, you have a lot of problem solving experience, but it is probably a new experience for a lot of you to like solve the problem while talking through each step, and that is what they will expect from you in your interview. So yeah, my suggestion is you practice doing that. So yeah, this basically sums up my advice for either people who got interview offer this year or people who are looking to apply in the future. Follow these advices, and I want to say you will be successful, but I'm not a professional, but at least it will help you. I hope it will help you in to a certain extent. And with that said, best of luck to those of you who received the interview offer. I look forward to seeing you guys here next year.